I kind of broke it out into zones. I broke it out into the high traffic zones and the wet areas and the lower traffic areas. When considering what flooring material to put down in these high traffic zones, I wanted to use the same material in the wet areas. So I figured that concrete would be a great solution. I just needed to know, could I treat the existing surface and, just add a coating? Like, what were my options? And then I came across Super-Krete. So I've asked Tracy Lakovich, the president and CEO of Super-Krete, to come over to the job site and show me some samples, and I'm really anxious to see what she's got.
Kalyn really liked the idea of keeping the existing concrete look. But the concrete has been damaged. There was carpet and tile down there previously, and so they've had to remove all that, which has left a lot of damage, a lot of glue and mastic. And there's really no way to preserve that concrete in its existing condition. So the best way is to resurface it with Super-Krete products.
So Tracy, thank you so much for preparing these samples today. I wanted to run through these and first talk about the floor. So tell me about some of these different options that you prepared for the floor.
Okay, looking at some of the inspiration that you had and wanting to keep something more of a simple, modern look, we want to do something that's going to be durable enough for the high pedestrian traffic in this commercial environment.
What makes the difference between the darker, is there color in this one?
There's not color, but again, this is the solvent-based sealer that really enhances it and provides somewhat of a glossy sheen to it. Where this is our Clear Seal Plus, which is a water-based sealant. This is what is used in retail stores, malls, anywhere where there's a lot of pedestrian traffic.
I like this look better.
Okay.
Would you recommend this as
Absolutely. It's a more natural finish, and you'll still have the protection that you need for the floor.
I think Mark is on board with the concrete. Originally in the building there was porcelain on the floor, and Mark seemed a little partial to it, but I think I've convinced him to go with the concrete.
I'm not really sure they're happy I'm here helping them, but I really want to try this.
So I wanted to do something a little special in the bathroom.
Designers are starting to turn to concrete as a modern option for decorative finishes for walls. Today, I'm working with Brett Klein, the representative for Super-Krete products. We're starting with the bathroom walls and the impressions that are really going to make this special.
Putting concrete on walls is not technically unusual. I mean, you have masonry work all the time, you do stucco, the customability of it all. More and more it's starting to be used in more of a decorative application, like doing a wood stamp or rocks. Adds that modern feel, which is really going to tie in nice. And you can see we have nice knots in this old world reclaimed wood stamp.
Yep.
And so what we can do is we can put this on the wall, get our impression.
And then how do you create the delineation between planks?
So what we have is we have these wheels, and they're called grout wheels. Here you have your skin up. This will then, once we remove this, we'll go along the wall, and it will tool in every line. And so we'll use the laser to make sure we have it nice and level. And then this gives us the ability to do any height or length of plank that we want.
I'm really excited I get to actually create this pattern with the installer on the job site. It's really a design build situation for this wall application, and I'm very excited to see how it turns out. They're catching up to me. That's my spot, it's not so smooth.
Having Kalyn here, that ups the nervousness a little bit because she's gonna be very picky on what it looks like. Getting a nice straight wood plank is probably one of the more difficult things to do on a wall.
So it was a lot of fun yesterday to actually help them install the Super-Krete on the walls myself.
It helps you learn a lot about materials as a designer, because in order to understand how materials come together and how they actually work, it creates better detailing. For me to understand that product, when applying it to the wall, it was actually a lot harder and drier than I had thought.
It was difficult and a lot more challenging than it looked. The next step is to let the walls cure for about 24 hours.
This is a little bit wet from up top, but all down here is where we came yesterday. And we still got to come in, and we use a product called Super Scrub, and it cleans off all the release and anything else that's stuck to it.
Okay.
And then we can come in and seal it.
I like what we've done so far, but now we have to wait and see how everything is going to look after it's had time to cure.
When you walk into the new space, you're going to be entering in the reception area. And I really wanted to create, it's a corporate headquarters. I wanted to create this feeling of grandiosity. When you enter somewhere with hard surfaces, you're not immediately feeling relaxed and comfortable. It's a very serious environment. So the Super-Krete floor, even though maybe that's not the first thing you're gonna notice, you're gonna feel the material under your feet, and it'll create this sense of arrival. You'll transition from the sidewalk into the space. It really will create this grand entrance.
Applying Super-Krete to the existing concrete is really a multi-layer process that can take up to several days. We've asked Rick Hartman and his team to install the Super-Krete throughout the building.
One of the greatest things about the decorative concrete industry out there is that this product is designed to last a lifetime, unlike the carpets that are changed out annually at points and tiles and other things out there. This stuff will be here for years to come.
Kalyn did make a very wise choice in not removing this slab. Just the overall cost of having to do that, you fill up landfills, you fill up all these places with material that is unusable again, and now what you do is we just cover it. We're gonna make this concrete look like it was poured yesterday.
And what this process does is allow us to come in and take this old foundation, this concrete floor, and make it look like a clean slate of concrete that's more durable than the original concrete itself. I think the important thing with Kalyn's vision was that she wanted to take this existing slab of concrete and make it a part of this building, make it a showpiece that people could look at and say, wow, that's different, that's cool.
The installers of Super-Krete have completed the bathroom installation. It was a lot of hard work, but the result speaks for itself. It really presents an interesting look. We also have all the concrete floors installed. The Super-Krete really revitalized all of the existing concrete in the building. It's a great entrance that will help provide the impact I'm looking for when people enter the building.